Fundamental rights and civil liberties suspended. More than 60 lakh Indians forced into sterilization. The emergency imposed under the Congress government 50 years ago was indeed a dark period in our history, the horror of which we continue to live with. But this wasn't just this. Many object that emergency changed the very nature of our constitution and brought unprecedented changes even into the relationship of the executive and the judiciary. The very constitution that forms the basis of democracy was tweaked to further the individual views of those in power back then, not only with the addition of the words socialist and secular, but also a whole host of other changes, often called the mini-constitution. RSS General Secretary Dattatreya Hosabale has once again now reignited the debate of whether we as a country need to relook at the changes into the preamble. India was socialist and secular even before these words were added to the preamble during the emergency in an undemocratic fashion. So, what was really the need? Hosabale says that the preamble is eternal. Then must India eternally stick by these ideals, particularly when the very founding fathers of the constitution were not on board with these terms themselves? So, are we just trying to cling to a pseudo-notion or a notion that is supported only by some and have not been democratically stamped? Must we not return to Ambedkar's vision of India? We'll take that and more with our guests in just a bit. But first up, let's understand the timeline of how the preamble amendment was done. First date that is of course important to remember is June 25, 1975, when the emergency was declared. It lasted almost 2 years. It was actually a year or so later, in December 18, 1976, that the preamble was amended for the very first and the only time in Indian history. 3 new words were added: socialist, secular and integrity. They were done through what is called the 42nd Amendment. And this 42nd Amendment is also known as the mini-constitution because it brought in a whole host of other changes into the constitution, not just the preamble. It curtailed, for example, the powers of the judiciary, enhancing those of parliament under Indira Gandhi. Now, September 6, 1978, by that time the emergency had been lifted. The 44th Amendment undid or reversed most of the aspects of the 42nd Amendment, but the change to the preamble was not turned back. This statement by Hosabale is the most prominent official of the RSS ever raising this directly. There have been hints at it and some debates have happened over the last few decades as well. For example, June 2025, RSS mouthpiece organizer had questioned the inclusion of these words into the preamble. It had said, and I quote, "Basic tenets of the preamble were rewritten most undemocratically in 1976. January 2022, J. Nandkumar is the convener of the Pran Pravaha, which is an offshoot of the RSS. He called secularism a Western concept. He also pointed out how constitution makers Ambedkar, Krishnaswamy Iyer had all debated against it and had said at the time that this wasn't necessary. January 2015, the IT Ministry's Republic Day advert omitted the words socialist or secular from the picture that they had posted of the preamble, and when a row broke out, the ministry said that the image of the original preamble of the Indian Constitution was used. Now, it is indeed correct that Constituent Assembly debated issues of what kind of democracy India would be, and issues like socialism and secularism both were discussed and rejected. Ambedkar, for example, which of course the Congress party quotes all the time, at the time had rejected the idea because he was fundamentally of the view that future generations should decide what kind of a republic or a country they want to live in. Loknath Mishra, who was another member of the Constituent Assembly, also added that secularism, as we know, if added, will separate state from religion, clearly indicating that they weren't really of the view that India needed to adopt that setup which separates religion from state, because India was a highly religious country. So the big debate that's coming up, is it time for a rethink, or is this just the same debate being brought into the public domain every time we talk about emergency? That's coming up.
भारत के संविधान के प्रस्तावना में, प्रियम्बल में 2 शब्द जुड़े गए। हम सब लोगों को मालूम है सेक्युलरिज्म और सोशलिज्म के, वो प्रस्तावना में नहीं थे पहले।
ये संविधान जो है, इस संविधान 1949 से लेकर 30 नवंबर 1949 से लेकर आरएसएस ने इसका विरोध किया है, आक्रमण किया है भारत के संविधान पर।
तो ये छोड़िए, संघ कभी कुछ भी बोल देता है, उसको कोई महत्वपूर्ण बात नहीं लेनी चाहिए।
उन्होंने पढ़ा नहीं है। मैं उनको एडवाइस करूंगा कि कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट असेंबली डिबेट को पढ़ें संजीदगी से। ये नागपुर से छपने वाले 15 पेज के से देश का ज्ञान नहीं होगा।
नई जनरेशन को ये जानकारी होनी चाहिए कि संविधान की हत्या उस समय इंदिरा जी ने कैसे की।
तो क्या वो रहनी चाहिए प्रस्तावना में? ये विचार होना चाहिए।
Let's go across to our guest joining us, RP Singh, national spokesperson of the BJP, Sujata Paul from the Congress party with us. Rashtriya is a political analyst, so is Saira Shah Halim, and Satya Mule is a senior lawyer at the Supreme Court. I do thank you all for joining us. Sujata Paul, let me begin with you. The Congress never likes the fact that the RSS raises these questions about the emergency or the fact that the preamble was changed during the emergency, not in a democratic fashion. But do you think, if you forget about the fact that the RSS is raising these questions, don't you think even as a country we should be having a free, frank discussion on whether it was right to begin with and whether it should be rethought about?
First of all, who is the RSS? What standing do they have? An unregistered society that is the fountainhead of the BJP, that believes in the fascism of the European Hitlers, Mussolini, Stalin included. Who are they? So what Hosabale says is immaterial, and it clearly shows where they're coming from. It clearly means that they rake up this issue every time for political means, and they are insulting the Constitution. They are insulting the Supreme Court of India. They are attacking the Supreme Court of India because it was the Supreme Court which had declared these words as part of the basic structure of the Constitution. And if we talk about the RSS or BJP, well, who wanted 400, 400 part? With a constitution like ours, where we have democracy, where there is space for everybody, it was the BJP, of course, the little baby of the RSS. But why are we giving so much of importance to RSS is important to understand that the BJP does not want to talk about these issues now, because they know that the people of the country had rejected all their claims in the run-up to the previous Lok Sabha elections. But the fact is, as far as the words socialist and secularism are concerned, they are part of our culture, of our identity. And when our leaders go abroad, including Mr. Narendra Modi, it is the secular and socialist structure of our nation which is spoken about with great appreciation.
I understand that. You're absolutely right. India was secular in all the laws that it had and the constitution, for what the constitution provided even before these words were added. It was socialist to the extent that the government did their best to uplift the poor, if that's what you want to take socialism to be, although it has never been fully socialist in the very next to communism kind of way. But I'll take that to RP Singh. The question that arises is, why can't we re-look at it, in the sense that when this was inserted, first of all, what was the need to insert it? And when it was inserted, it was done under emergency. It was not debated in Parliament, something the Congress reminds us day in, day out. The very democratic principles that the Congress is trying to uphold with these words of secular and socialist, they were actually appended when Indira Gandhi brought these in, and these are uncomfortable questions that will always haunt our polity. But the question also goes, RP Singh, why do you keep raking this 50 years since? There was a period available right after emergency was lifted, right after Indira Gandhi had lost, to do all of these reversals. Some of the amendments brought by her were reversed. At that time, nobody said anything, but you keep raking this up, or the BJP or the RSS or the Sangh Parivar keeps raking this up today.
Well, Shivani, first let's understand what Janata Party is saying. Who is RSS? Then why your leaders are commenting on RSS? When your leaders can't sleep without commenting about RSS. Mr. Rahul Gandhi is on record various times telling that there are infiltrators within Congress who are from RSS, and RSS are infiltrated my party, and RSS, there are people who are pro-RSS within the party. So, I mean, I'm shocked. She says, who's RSS? RSS is an organization which has given a ideological thought process to this country, the nationalist, the ideology to this country. But let's point aside, if she says that this was part of the constitution, then Sam Praduta is on record who said it was Nehruji who constituted the constitution, who framed the constitution. So then why did Pandit Nehru incorporate these words, the secularism and socialism? I mean, Pandit Nehru, if as per Congress party, if it was Pandit Nehru who constituted this or framed this constitution of India, then why did he did so? But look who's talking. Starting from 1949, when they brought in 370 against the wishes of the Constituent Assembly, members of the Constituent Assembly, they again tweaked with Section 19 of by 1951. Again in 1954, they brought in Waqf Act. Again,
I'm saying let's focus on this. No, I know you're talking about the history. No, I know you're talking about the history of Congress bringing many amendments that changed the nature of the constitution quite a bit. I get that, but let's focus on these two words. Why are we reminded again? Either you do it, either you float a proposal in Parliament to rethink on it. But you know, this social debate that keeps getting kick-started every year, this happens every year without fail. On the anniversary of the emergency. What's the point of that?
Well, this is an idea being floated by an organization. Let the nation debate on it, and in process of debate, whatever comes out, the nation will decide on it. But this thing, I'm not saying that we are trying to force an idea. Dattatreya is right, Hosabale Dattatreya is right when he says that these two words were not in part of the constitution. Had they been part of the constitution, then it would have been a separate thing. But since they were not part of the original constitution and they were being brought in later on, although in the Constitutional Assembly, Ambedkar at some given time, I was trying to read that also, at some given time he also said, why impose a way of life or socialism as way of life on the nation? Tomorrow there is something better which can lead the nation or
you're
society.
Right.
So we can think of that also.
You're right about it. Did this stymie...
And this country has been secular not because of the word.
Yeah.
This country has been secular not because of the secular word. I mean, because this country is a nation which is majority of Hindus. That's why this country is secular and will stay secular forever.
Yes, despite the scars of partition, and everybody knows what happened to Pakistan and then East Pakistan at that time, India was very firm that it was going to be a land inviting of all religions and not a theocratic republic. Saira Shah Halim, you know, the question needs to be asked, what was the need to do this? And to do this in a dictatorial fashion. You know, if this was done by debate in Parliament, fair enough, that's the will of the people. I think what rankles people is that this wasn't done democratically. Why not debate it in Parliament, whether India wants to be a secular or a socialist country, although both of those shades were available in Indian democracy even before 1976.
So firstly, good evening, Shivani. It is very clear that any right-thinking person will denounce the proposal made by the RSS to remove these two very intrinsic words that are so sacred to our constitution, secular and socialist. We need to understand
they weren't sacred. No, Saira, the very premise of what you're saying, is incorrect. They weren't sacred to the constitution because they weren't even there in the constitution.
So, Shivani, I would just request you, because the others were given their free time to talk.
I get that. I'll give you your ample time. But, you know, to throw words like they were sacred to our constitution is incorrect. That's precisely the debate we're having.
So let me start.
Yeah.
Okay, now firstly, the inclusion of the word whether it's secularism, whether it's socialism in the preamble, it's not just arbitrary addition, okay? It reflects the very core values of which our founding fathers of the Constitution, our freedom fighters like Shahid Bhagat Singh and his various, other comrades and other leaders fought for, okay? Now here, if you look at, the height of hypocrisy, okay, with the RSS, they did not believe in the idea or the preamble, the words, and they never even fought for the freedom of India. Now, if you talk about the 42nd Amendment in 1976, you can debate about why those words were included in the 42nd Amendment. However, one cannot debate about the Supreme Court's ruling that yes, these concepts are integral to the basic foundation, basic core of our Constitution. And this is not me. This is the Honorable Supreme Court that has time and time again upheld that India is again a socialist and secular democracy. And here the Honorable Supreme Court has quashed various petitions down the years that have tried to remove these two very intrinsic words.
No, you're right. You're right about that.
Socialist in the Indian context. Socialist in the Indian context. What does it mean? It means a welfare state which is focused on bringing equity to people. It needn't mean absence of private firms or private.
And what does
sector.
secular mean in the Indian context?
Secular in the Indian context, it means that the court has already clarified that secularism in India means that the state neither supports any particular religion nor discriminates against any particular religion, and it upholds the right to dignity to religious matters.
I get your point. I think nobody's kind of disproving, once again, Saleem, nobody's kind of disproving the tenets of these words or the philosophy behind these words and whether India needs to be these countries or not. I think the issue also is why was it imposed during a dark period, during an emergency, and why shouldn't everything that was done during the emergency be re-looked at? I think that is what he was pointing to, Mr. Dattatreya, that this wasn't there, this was inserted during emergency. Can't we have a relook? He's also, though, talking about the fact, Harsh Daya, I'm coming to you, is that the preamble is eternal. Why must India be bound by these words eternally? In other words, he's hinting to the fact that Constitution, is a living document or should be a document that suits all future generations to the extent that it shouldn't bind India into any one form of idea or not. But Saleem raises a very key issue, which is that Supreme Court has turned down these pleas in the past. So why bother about it, again and again?
Shivani, there are 2-3 aspects to this whole debate. First, coming to the Supreme Court angle. Let me make it clear to our viewers that the Supreme Court's job is to interpret the Constitution and the preamble and the laws. But it is the democratically elected government's job to frame those laws. Supreme Court can only interpret it. And there are several instances where Supreme Court has gone back on its previous judgments. They have given new judgments where the judges differ from their previous judgments. So it is out there in the open that if the government wants to change the Constitution today, let me give you a clear example. If the government in majority at that time, which had imposed emergency where all these fundamental rights were completely shattered, if they can add these alien words to a constitution, then the democratically elected government of today can remove these alien words from the constitution altogether. Second aspect to this debate is I would like to make it clear to the viewers that India is neither a socialist country, neither a secular country. If we were a socialist country, then we wouldn't have this capitalistic approach that we have in our markets today. We are a country that has adopted socialist policies to a certain extent while remaining capitalist at large. That is the biggest anomaly. And how is India secular? The division of United India in 1947 was based on religious lines. It was specifically based on Islamic lines. 2 Islamic nations were carved out of it. Then how can only one nation out of the 3 remain secular while the other 2 follow Islamic ideology?
No, we chose to be Panth Nirpeksh. People
Shivani,
differ between dharm nirpeksh and panth nirpeksh. I'm not getting into that debate. But
no. Let me put forward one more point. If we were truly secular, do you think India would have a Muslim personal law board?
no, you're right. I was coming just to that.
We
I
should
was
have
coming just to
uniform
that.
civil
If
code,
we are
and
secular,
these people who oppose uniform civil code tooth and nail,
yeah,
and who
and they
call
talk about
themselves as the
secularism.
Rakshaks
No,
of
you're
Constitution.
right about that.
How can
Not
that
just
go hand in
uniform.
hand?
Not just uniform civil code, you have Hindu temples under state control. That in itself is an affront to secularism. And when this happens only to one religion and not to others, and exclusivism or certain special contentions are carved out for quote-unquote minorities. By the way, the constitution doesn't talk about minorities either. That's also something that has come from jurisprudence. But anyways,
specifically for the second largest majority, not even the minorities.
but your point is right there, that we aren't secular. And it's not that secularism will flow only in one way. You want to be secular where state doesn't differentiate between religions. I'm not saying that it distinguishes itself. Then you need to be standing principally with all of those issues that you've brought up. And I'm afraid to say, I'll go to Sujata Paul in just a bit. Congress party opposes a lot of these principles that should be principles of secularism in totality in India. So do we take secularism when it suits us, and do we then close our eyes when it doesn't suit us? But Satyamule, I want to come to you. Do you think a change into the preamble and omission of the words socialist and secular are possible, or do you think they have become so enshrined in our quote-unquote basic doctrine that it would be legally challenged and never be able to legally uphold itself?
Well, there are two ways to do it. One is through judiciary by challenging the inclusion of these words, by taking the grounds that it was done at the time of the black spot on the democracy of India, that is the emergency imposed by Indira Gandhi, and the other way is through legislature, that is Article 368. But yes, it can be done. It is not that it cannot be done, because if we have to rely on what judiciary, that is the apex court, has said, our Constitution of India is a living document. It starts with we the people. So we the people are going to define as to how the Constitution is going to look like, how this country is going to have, what kind of character we are going to have in future. So let us accept the fact that this is going to be, challenged, and it is going to be, and the legislature has the power to do it. Addressing some other issues, allow me 1 minute.
Yeah.
First of all, if a large organization such as RSS is speaking out this particular thing, it is not the voice of RSS. It is the voice of people. Leave aside the RSS. The concepts of secularism and socialism are being debated, discussed, and also are a part of joke as well as various comments on various social media. So people at the ground level are challenging the validity of the concepts of secularism and socialism in India. Socialism and secularism, the way the judiciary has interpreted it, is not the reality on the ground. Therefore, these concepts are not a reality on the ground. Secularism cannot be a one-way traffic. It cannot be appeasement of one of the largest religion in a country which is wanting to pursue secularism in its real sense. But the concepts of twisted secularism must go. Baba Saheb Ambedkar never wanted secularism and socialism explicitly mentioned in the Constitution of India, because he always wanted that the people of India should decide, considering that Constitution is a living document, how they want to live, in what nature they want to live. And at the same time, it was also considered that the Constitution will have its own Article 368, which will allow legislature to amend this kind of subjects. Now, what happens is, when it was done, the government did not have the mandate to this kind of a major change. Preamble is a part of Constitution, has been declared by the judiciary. Such a major change to Constitution done at the time of emergency is one of the landmark black spot on the democracy of India. It's surprising to the extent that it is unacceptable when we start our preamble by we the people. Where was the will of the people when
these changes were brought in? So even if we agree with the principles of secularism and socialism, I'm not saying you are saying that, but let's say even if we were to agree that yes, these are good principles, we can principally disagree in the manner in which it was inserted into the preamble. Yes, Sujata Paul.
Yes, I think you have lawyers sitting here, and I'm appalled to see that they don't know about the judgment on 25th. In fact, the rejection of various petitions petitions on 25th November 2024.
Ma'am, I
challenging
cleared
this
that point very well as
amendment.
well. I cleared that point as well. If
You
you
don't
were
have to
listening
speak in between.
carefully,
I didn't
we have
speak in
cleared
between,
that point.
okay? Don't interject. I didn't speak in between.
Okay, let's
The
calm
fact
down.
is-
Let's calm down. Yes.
The fact
Stop
is
being
that
so
the
agitated.
Supreme Court uphold. Do you have to speak in between? Are you so nervous? Listen and then speak. The Supreme Court had upheld the word secular and socialist in the preamble to the Constitution on 25th November 2024. And I want to understand from Mr. R.P. Singh, not from any random person, but from Mr. R.P. Singh, but from the BJP, that do they agree to what Hosabale ji is saying? They have to answer that. Now, when you say that it happened during the emergency, there are so many times that this has been challenged. And if I'm talking about this latest one on 25th November 2024, the rejection of all those petitions, what are we trying to prove over here?
Okay,
And the
can I
fact
ask
is
you a
that when they
question
ask
then?
for- Yes, please. Yes, please.
You're right. The Supreme Court hasn't really bought into this argument that these words need to be reversed. But would the Congress party object if the Parliament discussed it? After all, the floor of the House is the will of the people. Can the Parliament not look into it? Is that out of question completely?
Shivani, that's what, this whole conspiracy is for the BJP to build a narrative, because you know what happened? The non-biological was brought down by the people of this country because they held the constitution supreme and sacred. And that is why they are now, because earlier, if you remember, during the run-up to the Lok Sabha elections, their leaders were saying that they're going to change the constitution.
I get what you're saying, but that was taken in the context not so much of the preamble, but of reservations.
Let them try it.
I'm only saying the Congress party cannot be opposed to the idea that today's polity, today's people, today's parliament can rediscuss this issue. If they today want to remove it, certainly that discussion or debate should be allowed.
Shivani, they've always had discussions of whatever they wanted, but they don't want to take a chance this time because they know that the people of the country will stand
I get your point.
and majority of the people have not voted for them.
Okay, I get your point. Sujata Paul may have a point there. That RP Singh, RP Singh, BJP tries to kind of float these ideas, which are ideological issues. I can understand that, but you don't really have either the power right now or the force to really pull through some of those ideas.
Shivani, 23rd April 1985, Shabano case, court gave an order. Who turned it back? It was Rajiv Gandhi. So because they wanted to appease a certain vote bank. So it was part of secularism. Was it accepting the verdict of the court? So court can give its verdict. Court has right to give its verdict, and Parliament has right to rectify it and go by the people's mandate. What do people think about a subject? But that's not the issue. Issue is who's talking. I mean, at least go and ask them to go and have a look in the mirror at least.
No, Congress may not have much legs to speak on this. Ma'am, Sujata Paul, 1 second. Let me ask the question. So, RP Singh, Congress may not have much defense over the kind of things they have done in opposition to Supreme Court verdicts and all. I'm running some of these amendments that have come into being, and they have changed Indian politics in a very large way. But my question is to the BJP or the Sangh Parivar ecosystem. It's 50 years since independence. First of all, there is a charge against the RSS that at the time, or even the Jan Sangh at that time, after Indira Gandhi was defeated, why did you not come together and reverse these changes? Why was the leadership so weak at that time, if you felt so strongly? And then to raise this 50 years later, you're still raising it, but not really doing anything about it.
Shivani, it has not been raised by BJP. Let's understand this.
BJP has also talked about it, sir. Let's be fair.
Yeah. Please. No, allow me to complete.
Yes, go ahead.
And then it has been raised on the occasion of 50 years of emergency. I mean, the black chapter in the Indian democracy. So, and then all those atrocities and all those amendments which were done during emergency without taking it to the parliament, without getting the amendment cleared by the parliament, is something similar to section 35A, which was imposed without even getting it through the process of parliament. So even this was in a similar fashion. So
what do about it? RP Singh, that's what I am asking.
No, so let's there be debate. Let's there be debate. Only this is the issue of debate. Let's there be debate and let people let the issue evolve out of that. It's not imposing. It's not like Mrs. Gandhi or Rajiv Gandhi who's trying to impose their will or they're trying to impose.
You're saying let society come to a
on people.
Okay, I get what you're saying. You're saying let society come to a conclusion. Let the base be set and let people, be ready for the idea. Mr. Mule, I have 30 seconds left. You raised your finger. I'll give it to you. 30 seconds, sir.
Yeah. See, what happens is what judiciary has interpreted, the concepts of secularism, socialism are completely different than what Congress party understands. Because we can definitely say that the way they have been implementing their political agenda, at the same time they have been utilizing these concepts at the time of election, are completely different than what judiciary has interpreted. Secularism per se is a very good concept. Socialism in the context of welfare democracy is also a very good concept. But the way they are being politicized is something that is not required in India. Therefore, the legislature may want to redefine these concepts by inserting different words or substituting different words. Now, having said this, it is definitely something which what we can say is debate is necessary for a healthy democracy. If some debate has started, it should reach to its logical conclusion.
Okay, I'll leave it at that. I've run out of time. I do thank all of our guests for joining us. Moving on to the other big story we're tracking, even as the horror of Arjikar rape and murder case is alive in the minds of people, another rape on yet another Kolkata College campus has left the country shocked. A law student was gang raped, recorded, threatened on the campus of South Calcutta Law College. All three accused, one with links to the ruling party TMC, a staff member and the other a student, have been arrested. But politically, this has cornered the state government again on rising crime and the impunity with which those linked to the ruling party are functioning. The survivor has narrated the horror. I'm quoting some bits of the FIR that has been registered, and the case details are absolutely shocking. First of all, the complainant has said that the accused is the unofficial head of the TMPC unit and holds much power in the college. Accused told her that he loved her and wanted to marry her, but when she refused, he stopped her and told the other two to lock the door from outside. He took me near the washroom and forced himself upon me. I had a panic attack, the victim says, and was short of breath. I asked to be taken to the hospital, but they did not even have the decency to take her to the hospital, of course. They then brought an inhaler instead for the victim, after which she felt better. She tried to escape, but they then locked the main gate of the college premises. In the complaint, it is written that the guard was helpless and did not help. They took the victim to the guard room then and made the guard sit outside. The accused raped the victim, blackmailed her with videos that they have taken of her during this process, and also threatened to kill her boyfriend and arrest her parents if she spoke out. The other two accused, the victim says, was standing and watching everything when this was happening inside the guard room. The main accused is someone who has graduated from the same college, the South Calcutta Law College, in 2022. He was linked to the Trinamool Congress students wing and continues to wield significant influence in the college even after passing out. During his college days, Manojit Mishra was known for his dominance and muscle power, with his name linked to multiple incidents of assaults that is also coming to light. So with this, another horror taking place on campuses. Have no lessons been learnt, and is blame game enough when it comes to this justice?
কিন্তু যা ব্যবস্থা যা আইনত তাই হবে, যত আপন যত ছাত্র যা থাকুক সে যদি নিজেও থাকে।
Yesterday, 3 of them were arrested, and today they were produced before Lanet CJM Alipur. And Lanet bail petitions were filed on behalf of the accused persons.
जब तक ममता बनर्जी रहेगी राज्य में एज ए मुख्यमंत्री और तृणमूल कांग्रेस पावर में रहेगी, तब तक होता ही रहेगा।
देखा जाए इसमें और कौन कौन जुड़े हुए हैं उनको गिरफ्तार करके कड़ी से कड़ी सजा की हम लोग मांग कर रहे हैं।
Joining me on this debate, Priyanka Tibrewal of the BJP, Tausifur Rahman of the TMC, Shaira Shah Halim continues to be with us. I'm also joined by Nirmal Kore, who's a former IPS officer. I do thank you all for your time. Tausif, another such case happening barely months after the Arjikar case. It seems like the administration has learnt no lessons or no clear warning of strict law and order has gone down the ranks.
No, it's not like that. Good evening to everyone. Well, you can't say the administration hasn't learned anything. We are working very hard and we are the ones who have launched Aprajita bill. We have passed Aprajita bill in the assembly. It's been 8 months by not getting passed by the union government or by the president. It's not our fault. We want death penalty. And let me tell you very straight, this is very heartbreaking and a very serious incident, no doubt. And it won't be taken lightly at any cost whatsoever, but the law will take its own course and the crime against women won't be tolerated in this land where we worship Lord Durga Ma. And let me tell you straight, when the police came to know about this action, whosoever is involved, you were charging about TMCAP where he was not in TMCP anymore from last 2023. But again, I don't understand why BJP is not focusing on the case. They are loitering with the picture. Even I can show a lot of pictures to you. Here are the pictures. I can show a lot of pictures to you. I can loiter with these pictures where BJP is giving award to Kartik Maharaj and everyone. But we don't want to. This is not the matter. It's not a joke. If you talk about TMCP involvement,
exactly. We are also trying to say the same, that it is not a joke.
Priyanka ji,
it is a very serious issue, Tausif.
Priyanka ji,
do not try to joke over the issue.
You are loitering around.
ये मजाक है.
इसको क्या बनाया है आपने? What do you mean? Mamata Bandyopadhyay, Abhishek Bandyopadhyay. No, what do you mean? Mamata Bandyopadhyay, Abhishek Bandyopadhyay asked the TMCP guys to go and rape women. What nonsense is this? It is a very heart-wrenching case, whatever is happening in Calcutta. And I don't understand why you people are not serious. अरे कभी politics से ऊपर चढ़ के बात करिए.
Is it not a fact?
This is not a debate. It's a very serious allegations. Whatever is happening in Calcutta.
Happened inside a student.
Can I just come in? Ma'am, just one second. I want to have I'll allow you to complete. Tausif, you were saying that I was charging he's from the TMPC. I very specifically said that he was there as an ex-official of the TMPC. The complainant in her complaint has said, in her statement, has said that he is unofficial head of the TMPC and wields considerable power in the college campus even today. I ask you one more time before I go to our other guests. You may say the administration has learnt lesson, and yes, you can say in this case, unlike what was alleged in the Arjikar case, there has been no attempt to kind of shield anybody or, not arrest the accused immediately. But the question still goes to the TMC that some of these local leaders associated with your party, are they so drunk on power, so high on power that they don't care of the crimes they are committing?
Only Trinamool Congress is high on power. BJP is not.
I can only ask you about Bengal, right?
See, when you ask me some questions,
Priyanka ji, let him speak. I'll come to you.
I do understand when you ask me some questions, this is not coming straight from you. You are bringing out from public view. You are bringing from the opposition as well. So I'm not targeting directly. But before you point fingers on Bengal, please mention about BJP ruling state. Odisha, in 10 days, there were 5 rape in 10 days. No one wants to speak on that. Of course, you want to focus on West Bengal, do it. It's a rape. We cannot move back. We have to focus on that. I mean, that girl has faced something. It is like, it's not tragic. It's a crime. We cannot go back foot. We have to see what's there. But why Aprajita bill is not getting passed?
Okay. No, but I'm not asking you about those things. Tausif, please understand what I'm trying to ask you. There have been cases after cases where either TMC leaders or TMC-linked local leaders have been, charged of crimes, particularly against women. Doesn't the party have a problem where its own local leadership is not listening even to what your, state leaders may say? I'll come back to you. Yes, Priyanka Tibrewal. Why make a big issue about a rape in Bengal alone when it is a reality that absolutely heinous crimes are happening in states ruled by all parties? BJP, TMC, Congress and others.
Nobody said that it is being a question because
it is being held by any other opposition party. What we are trying to say is that such an heinous crime, and just look at the number of crimes which are happening here in Bengal, and what is more important here is, in Arjikar it was a doctor, now it is a law student. So when educated women are being targeted...
One by one.
No, I will not take this, Tausif. I will not take this. Not today.
Let's not do this. Let's not do this. I don't want this to happen. Please, I request both of you to control yourself. Otherwise, I'll have to fade one of your faders.
No wonder educated
Tausif,
women
I'll
are
come
being
back to
raped
you.
in Bengal.
Yeah.
No wonder educated women are being raped in Bengal. So we can just think about the women who are there at the village level where they cannot even raise their voices. Now in Sandesh Khali, when that happened, so Sheikh Shah Jahan was given complete backing from TMC and they stood for him. Now here also, this person who is involved, the main accused, he's a TMCP Neta. He's a TMCP Neta. I want to ask, they are very cleanly, I heard Mr. Kalyan Banerjee saying that, what can we do? Can we have police inside the college campus? Now, this is a shame upon you. This is a shame upon you, because when there is a SOP procedures, when such an incident happened in school, they said that all schools and colleges will have proper security system, cameras. Why it is not there in a college? Why it is not there? Somebody is being dragged, pulled, taken to another room, taken to the washroom, and nobody is there in the college to stop that. What big a goon is he?
No, it seems like in this case, there was a guard who possibly knew what was going on. But imagine the terror of this so-called TMPC leader or ex-leader, that the guard did nothing, didn't call the police.
Yes, because they know that they have backed.
Tausif, I'll come to you. Tausif, I'll come to you. Let me just have Priyanka's view first.
They know. Now he was talking about certain pictures. They know that people who are in the pictures, like Kajuri Banerjee, who is the sister-in-law of Mamata Banerjee, the MLA there. Now they know that these people are standing behind him. So the law minister herself, Chandrima Bhattacharya, oh my God, what a shame. So these kind of men who are so closely associated with the ministers here in Bengal, of course, a guard, he will of course get threatened that he can do anything to me tomorrow. So they know that they have the support, they have the power. That is the reason they were trying to threaten this girl also.
Okay, 1 second. Let me just bring in Tausif very quickly. I have to go to our other two guests as well. Yes, why are you saying this is not true? Because I read it in the complainant's complaint that the guard was there and they locked the main gate and the guard was helpless, didn't do anything. He could have at least called the police.
Shivani, right now we are talking about a case. Can you stop the case which happened last night? I mean, you can't stop something happened. And we respect that girl. Whatever she said, we need to take action. Shivani, tell me something.
Priyanka, not like this. Please, let's not do this. Let's not do this. Please.
Shivani, tell me something. I'm sitting in your studio and we have 5 people over there. Can you predict what will happen after 2 years? Can you predict who's going to do something? And
what are you saying, Tausif?
No, Shivani, I am giving you a logic. Why these people is bringing TMC PP leaders? I want to show all these pictures. Dikhao aap isko. Why are you loitering around with all those pictures? Talk about a rape. It happened in Bengal. It happened in Odisha.
I'm not talking about those pictures at all. First of all, Tausif, you would have noticed. 1 second, calm down. You would have noticed I have not brought up those pictures at all, because I think pictures can be clicked with any kind of leader that doesn't quite suggest patronage. But this leader, this prime accused, does have a link to your student's wing. You can't deny that. What was he doing on that college campus? He's an ex-student.
Shivani ji, where is he right now? In 12 hours, 3 people who are accused been arrested.
Okay.
Judge ke samne peshi ho gayi.
All right. I want to go across to our other guests as well. Saira Shah Halim, are people in Kolkata or West Bengal going to look at these cases and say, yes, something is considerably wrong as far as the fear of law and order is concerned? Because this is not happening, let's say, inside somebody's home or in a dark alley. This is happening on a college campus for the second time within a year.
See, it's a fact that college campuses in Kolkata, in Bengal, are being violated. Last year, we were reeling under the shock of the Arjikar rape and murder case. And this year, there's a law student who gets raped, gang rape at the campus. So, and now, this subculture of Bengal, it's very tragic that anybody associated with the ruling party are somewhere or the other involved in rapes, whether it was Sandesh Khali, whether it was Arjikar last year, and now itself. Now, for example, if you let's react to the incident, okay? Now, who is Mishra, the main accused, okay, Manojit Mishra, he's associated with the Trinamool Chhatra Parishad, TMCP, that is a student body, and he's a student leader of TMCP. Now, if you go on his Facebook, you take a glance on his Facebook profile, it says that he's the organizational secretary of TMCP's South Kolkata district, which is a pretty senior position. And he's also practicing lawyer at the Alipur court, okay? Now, the other two, incidentally, are also associated with the TMC. Now, right now, as Calcuttans, we demand exemplary action, exemplary punishment, because this is not on. Last year, it was RG and this year, it is South Kolkata
Do
Law
you
College.
believe, Saira Shah Halim, as someone who hails from the state, do you think the state's response and the Chief Minister's response has been sufficient?
It's not been sufficient. Look at the Park Street rape case where our own CM said it's Sajano Ghatna. It is a decorated, rape. So now there are rape cases and, who gets to bear the brunt? The victim. The victim is the one who is shamed that she was irresponsible. She was partying out at night. Why did you go to this room? Why did you meet this stranger? But it is never about why these rapes are happening in the middle of Park Street, at RG Medical College, at Law College, at various campuses. Why is it happening?
Yeah.
You can be in denial. The TMC people, representatives can be in denial, but there is no denying the fact that there is a Gunda Raj happening, and it is being encouraged by the ruling
party and the cadre.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
I want to take that to Tausif, but before that, I want to go across to Nirmal Kore as well. One of the statements that has come in from a senior TMC leader is that, see, you can't stop these crimes because this is happening inside a college campus. The accused and the victim are known to each other. How can you stop such crimes? Your comment on this? On that basis, there can be no law and order, frankly.
I think this is a very, very irresponsible statement to make, and it is as if he's abdicating all responsibility, or the society and everyone is abdicating all responsibility. Our educational institutions have to be especially safe. In Bengal especially, I've toured Bengal a lot, that all the institutions, whether it's a law college or a medical college or just a general college, there are these Gunda-like elements like this present accused, the chief accused now, and earlier we had another one in that RG College.
Yeah.
They are larger than life kind of people there, and they profess link to TMC, to the ruling party. They say we are very strong out there, we are a very senior functionary in the cadre. This is what they profess, and they make people believe that. And there's no, there's nothing which the party says to say, no, he's not part of us. There's no mechanism like that. So they profess that, and they say we are the biggest, that macho kind of, not only macho, very indecent, we can fix anything from admission to fees maaf, to anything, to your attendance, to whatever is needed in the college, they fix, including getting orders for purchases, tenders, all that. They are basically fixers and touts who are hanging around all institutions, fixing and touting everything there is on offer. And then they become so powerful, or at least they think that there's aura of power, and they think they can get away with anything. Like in this present case, the Manojit Mishra, the main accused, he just, the guard is, if the guard is helpless, I'm sorry, what use is the guard?
Yeah.
Guard should have at least called the police.
In fact,
and
this
guard is also being,
the guard is apparently locked out and
this
is
kind
afraid
of
of
overbearing
the entire situation. In fact, Kalyan Banerjee, when he says you can't have police everywhere.
So then why have a guard at all?
Exactly.
Why have a guard at all?
Exactly.
What is the
You
use
can't
of guard?
have police
He's an
everywhere,
accomplice.
but
He's
you have
an accomplice in the crime instead of protecting.
Exactly.
Exactly. Now they will
the society also have to have some norms. Police can't be everywhere.
Say that too.
Priyanka, yes.
They will try to character assassination of the girl will be done. They will say that she went with her own wishes. Because if you see page 4 of the complaint of the girl, it is specifically said that they asked me to prove my loyalty towards TMC. Because she was in the college wing of TMC, the others, the seniors who raped the accused, they told her that prove your loyalty towards TMC. So when they say that don't make everything political, this is political. This is political.
No. Priyanka ji, no one is
under the
taking
cover
you
of
seriously.
politics,
You are not
a
bothered
crime
about
which
the
has
girl.
taken place, and
You are not bothered about the girl.
Can I just come in? Can I just come in?
That the accused should not be spared because They disguised themselves under this political color and then they raped a woman inside a college campus.
Tausif, you may be right in saying that the police cannot be everywhere. I think nobody wants to live in a society where the police is on every nook and corner. We want to have a safe experience, and that doesn't mean always having police around you. But certainly the party needs to do more in sending a message to its own rank and file that you cannot take law into your hands.
Shivani, see, I was hearing Nirmala ji. I mean, she makes sense. Whatever she said, we have to agree. It's not because she's not belong from a political party. She's talking sense. I heard Sarah ji also, but I just want to give you a rebuttal, not even a rebuttal, but explanation. Sarah was talking about TMCP, Gunda, Gardi, and everything. When CPM was in power, there was a say when Jyoti Basu used to say, let me please,
Sarah ji, please. Now, you're wasting time on such an important topic.
बांतल्ला में रेप हुआ करता था और ज्योति बासु बोलते थे ये आए दिन का काम है ये होता रहता है.
No, so that's nobody can justify that, Tausif. Nobody can justify that. TMC is not duty bound to carry out that convention.
Shivani, something happened in Bengal.
Now, who told them that rape was a valid test?
One second. Priyanka, let's not destroy.
No, one second. Priyanka, you made that point. Let him finish. I have limited time. Yes, please. Quickly.
Something happening in Bengal. If TMC, the state Bengal, if it's not taking any action, then you point out fingers on us. 12 hours, all three accused have been arrested, sent them to jail, into the judicial custody, and the action has been taken. आपको चाहिए क्या पॉलिटिक्स करना है? आप अपने गरबान में झांको.
नहीं, आपको किसने कहा कि लॉयल्टी प्रूव करने के लिए रेप टेस्ट होता है?
You will not like that.
Who said that rape is a valid test to prove your loyalty? Now, this is the message which TMC is giving to the women in Bengal. That if you have to be politically active, you have to prove your loyalty by getting raped. This is a message which TMC is giving to the women in Bengal, that in order to be active in politics, get raped.
One second. Can I come in? 1 second. Both of you, please, let's not speak over each other.
2 seconds. Shivani, 2 seconds.
No, Tausif,
all... This validity.
Priyanka ji, hold on. I don't want to mute anyone. Just hold on. Tausif, you didn't answer my question. There seems to be a problem in the rank and file of the TMC. After the last case, there was an understanding that maybe there is a problem. Recently, with the riots happened and the attack on Hindu homes and villages happened in the name of Waqf protests, even TMC leaders were found to be wanting and feeling like even they don't have their constituents in control. Doesn't the party need to wake up?
If anyone wants to target a particular political party, they can bring Waqf board, they can bring Sandesh Khali, but let's stick to one point. If rape happened, sexual assault happened, everything is there. We have taken the statement. The police is taking action. I want to ask a simple question to Priyanka Tibrewal and to Narendra Modi as well. आपको अपराजिता बिल पास करने में क्या प्रॉब्लम है?
Okay, I have only enough time to take an answer on that.
What is the problem?
Let Bengal BJP respond. Now wait. Let her hear her answer. Let's hear her answer.
The answer is that intention matters. The answer is SOP is already there. It was in one of the cases where I went to the High Court and a SOP was given here to the West Bengal government. And they said that this will be operated in all the schools where they will have camera in all the campuses. But nothing was implemented. Why talk about a new bill when you don't have the intentions of doing things which you can?
Okay.
It very well proves.
I have run out of time.
For showing loyalty, it's a validity test.
No, we have to, of course, speak to more people and students in Kolkata to understand what they feel about this. And, there have been massive protests that happened after Arjikar case. Protests are being mounted by students and others. Even in this case, we'll continue to track this story very closely. Time for a very short break. The Right Stand is coming up in Anand Narasimha.
Brought to you by... Fresh political flashpoint is brewing in Bengal. Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee has lashed out at the Election Commission of India, accusing it of pushing ahead with the special intensive revision of electoral rolls without consulting political parties. Mamata alleges that common Bengalis and migrant workers are being harassed under the garb of voter verification and claims the entire process is being politically driven by BJP's campaign machinery. She says the BJP and the ECI are treating state governments as subservient and warns Bengal is being unfairly targeted, even as Bihar, where the process is also being conducted, is being spared scrutiny. The BJP has hit back. Leader of opposition Suvendu Adhikari has accused Mamta of resorting to appeasement and corruption and claims she is now threatening a constitutional body. Adhikari has demanded action from the Election Commission over her remarks.
Sometimes they do not know where is the villager, especially the poor people, especially the hawkers, bakers, or the poor people, commoners. Where they will get the mother certificate, the father certificate? Is it NRC? Is it they are doing or working to establish the NRC? What is their intention? Please let us clarify.
She is gradually losing her ground due to her high appeasement and huge corruption. For that reason, she is now feeling fierce hawkishness. Due to this reason, she is threatening Election Commission. Election Commission is a constitutional body. It's an autonomous body. Please take appropriate action against the statement made by a political party leader.
देखिए, चुनाव आयोग एक स्वायत्त संस्था है और उनकी तरफ से पॉलिसीज बनाई जाती है। उद्देश्य क्या होता है कि निष्पक्ष चुनाव हो, कहीं कोई कदाचार नहीं हो और कोई भी व्यक्ति अपने वोटिंग राइट से वंचित ना हो जाए। विपक्ष के साथी हमेशा फर्जी वोटों की चर्चा करते हैं, उस दिशा में अपनी चिंता व्यक्त करते हैं। चुनाव आयोग की तरफ से एक गाइडलाइन जारी की गई है जिसमें सत्यापन की बात कही गई है। होता यह है कि कोई भी नियम जब बनता है तो उसके प्रैक्टिकल क्रियान्वयन में कई बार दिक्कतें आती हैं, तो हमें लगता है कि सबको अपने सुझाव देने चाहिए और जो सबसे उचित और सबसे प्रैक्टिकल फैसला होगा वो चुनाव आयोग की तरफ से किया जाएगा।
Fresh political flashpoint is brewing in Bengal. Chief Minister Mamta Banerjee has lashed out at the Election Commission of India, accusing it of pushing ahead with the special intensive revision of electoral rolls without consulting political parties. Mamta alleges that common Bengalis and migrant workers are being harassed under the garb of voter verification and claims the entire process is being politically driven by BJP's campaign machinery. She says the BJP and the ECI are treating state governments as subservient and warns Bengal is being unfairly targeted. Even as Bihar, where the process is also being conducted, is being spared scrutiny. The BJP has hit back. Leader of opposition Suvendu Adhikari has accused Mamta of resorting to appeasement and corruption and claims she is now threatening a constitutional body. Adhikari has demanded action from the Election Commission over her remarks.
Sometimes they do not know where is the villager, especially the poor people, especially the hawkers, bakers, or the poor people, commoners. Where they will get the mother certificate, the father certificate? Is it NRC? Is it they are doing or working to establish the NRC? What is their intention? Please let us clarify.
She is gradually losing her ground due to her high appeasement and huge corruption. For that reason, she is now feeling fierce hawkishness. Due to this reason, she is threatening Election Commission. Election Commission is a constitutional body. It's an autonomous body. Please take appropriate action against the statement made by a political party leader.
देखिए, चुनाव आयोग एक स्वायत्त संस्था है और उनकी तरफ से पॉलिसीज बनाई जाती है। उद्देश्य क्या होता है कि निष्पक्ष चुनाव हो, कहीं कोई कदाचार नहीं हो और कोई भी व्यक्ति अपने वोटिंग राइट से वंचित ना हो जाए। विपक्ष के साथी हमेशा फर्जी वोटों की चर्चा करते हैं, उस दिशा में अपनी चिंता व्यक्त करते हैं। चुनाव आयोग की तरफ से एक गाइडलाइन जारी की गई है जिसमें सत्यापन की बात कही गई है। होता यह है कि कोई भी नियम जब बनता है तो उसके प्रैक्टिकल क्रियान्वयन में कई बार दिक्कतें आती हैं, तो हमें लगता है कि सबको अपने सुझाव देने चाहिए और जो सबसे उचित और सबसे प्रैक्टिकल फैसला होगा वो चुनाव आयोग की तरफ से किया जाएगा।
Namaste, Jai Hind, and welcome to this edition of The Right Stand. I am Anand Narasimhan. The most frightening act of Indira Gandhi during the emergency was the 42nd Amendment, which was intended to perpetuate dictatorship. It completely defaced and defiled the Constitution. This is what S. Gurumurthy, editor Tughlaq, highlighted on The Right Stand on Wednesday. A day later, Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh General Secretary Dattatreya Hosabale has called for review of the words socialist and secular that were inserted into the preamble of our constitution, saying that the two words were inserted during emergency and were not part of the original preamble. Listen in.
It hurt Bharat more, the excesses of what was called the excesses of emergency hurt